our mid-year break has come up and we were supposed to be travelling to WA to go to Rottnest Island to see the quokkas, and unfortunately COVID happened and the borders shut and we found ourselves being stuck in Victoria. So we settled on being able to just travel around Victoria and see what we could see. And then at the 11th hour yesterday, they announced that the borders were opening to Queensland coming this Friday. So we decided to do a wild and crazy thing and just pack everything up, and we're heading to the Dinosaur Trail in Queensland. Well, that's the plan. This is probably the single most unplanned trip we have ever taken. So we've hitched up the van and we've thrown everything into the van at all hours of the night, literally. And hopefully we haven't forgotten anything. I've already forgotten the roast for dinner tonight, so we had to stop off and support a local business and grab a nice piece of roast. So hopefully that is going to turn out beautiful. It's cooking in the travel buddy in the back of the car as we speak, and it looks amazing. I just hope I do it justice. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. We have no idea where we're going to be staying along the way. We're going to be using different apps and just seeing where we can camp and stop, and hopefully things pan out. It has been absolutely pouring the entire time that we have been traveling so far. So we're hoping that the further north we get, the more we leave this horrid weather behind. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy a little bit of the treks along the way with us, and that we survive, and that we get to stay in places, and yeah, we'll just see how things end up. So we'll do little snippets along the way and see what happens. Okay, see you. Hey, so we have arrived at our first destination for the night at our camp, which is Sandy Point Reserve, I think, isn't it, Jay? In Hay. And we were referred to use a really fantastic and user-friendly app for free camping along the way called Travelers Autobahn. And I literally had like 5 seconds to use it and try and figure out how to use it, and found it really, really simple. We had a little bit of a bump steer on our first camp that it recommended to us in Hay, just simply because it must have recently closed down as a free camp, and there was a fairly fresh looking sign. If I had have gone into the comments, I would have seen that. So it's probably no fault of the app. And this one, well, we think it actually looks really good, but we arrived in the dark. We got here about 5:30 and it was already dark. It was very wet, but it gave great instructions to bring around a bigger rig. Not that we have a bigger rig, but it's quite wet here, so it was good to follow that route instead and come in. It looks like it's a huge camp area. It'd be actually really good to have a bit of a look around before we move on to our next spot tomorrow. So I'll be able to take some pictures and some footage and actually show you as well as us what it looks like when we're actually camping. Dinner turned out absolutely amazing, cooked to perfection. It probably was in for almost 4.5 hours, but that was from a cold oven. So if it went into a hot oven, I'd recommend doing something like that for about 4 hours. And it was such a big piece of meat. We've got enough for dinner for tomorrow night as well. So the only thing that I would recommend putting it in it was quite juicy, and so quite sloppy coming out of the camp oven. So definitely put it into an oven bag if you're going to do something like that. It'll just help contain the juices and not spill out everywhere. But otherwise, really, really yummy. So anyway, because it's still quite wet outside, and we haven't even bothered pulling out the awning or getting out the fire tonight. It's just too wet, and still raining on and off. So we've decided we're going to have a nice warm night in. We've got the diesel heater going in the van, which is nice and toasty in here. We're going to sit back, just finish dinner and watch a movie and enjoy a nice icy cold beer, because you deserve it, because you got us here in awesome time. So cheers, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. See ya.
Cheers.
Good morning. And so we have risen to an absolutely beautiful blue sky today. There are just only a few clouds in the sky, but what a contrast to driving up yesterday, and it rained all night. Because we arrived in the dark last night, I had no idea what it was going to be like, and thought that we might be waking up to a bit of water all around us, but it seems to have drained away really well. And most of the campers that we saw that when we did come in last night appear to have gone. So it's looking fantastic. Actually, I haven't really had a bit of an explore. We did get up a little bit late this morning, but it doesn't really matter because we're just kind of winging it as we go. So I'm going to flip you around so you can have a look. So there's us, and Jason just cleaning out the oven because the roast did, as I said, have a bit of a spill last night. But you will see this is as posted in the reviews on the campground app that we used. Massive, absolutely massive area. And like I said, I have literally not even just walked anywhere as yet. Just pulled in last night. There's a nice looking toilet block, undercover barbecues, which apparently the barbecues are free, gas barbecues to use. The van got absolutely filthy coming in last night. So at some point, like, ugh, that's disgusting. At some point we will try and find a bit of a car wash and give it a light squirt. We're not princesses about it, but when you're getting in and out and leaning up against things as you're traveling, it's nice not to be covered in mud as you do so. So apparently just down here there is a gorgeous river with a boat ramp. So you're seeing it for the first time, as am I. It's going to have a very quick squeeze. Like I said, we're not staying here, but it is a nice place to stay. Apparently there's a limit of 72 hours to be able to stay here. Oh, it's really quite boggy and soggy down here. But that's okay. Apparently it's nice fishing as well. And it's on the Murrumbidgee River, I think it was. So there's a huge amount of picnic tables in here. It's extremely well set up, and it's so close to the town of Hay. It's like a short stroll. Apparently they've done a brilliant job having something like this in here for the campers coming through. This is the sort of thing that brings crowds to these little country towns that desperately need us, and that's what you want to see. We're so lucky in our country to have a lot of things like this for us. So again, as the as the app said, it has a beautiful sandy beach, nice big stretch of beach. This would be absolutely gorgeous in the warmer weather. You can certainly see why it's a popular place to come to. And that river, oh wow, that would be brilliant to bring the jet ski up here and have a bit of a tube. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So this is definitely one we're going to put in our favourite marker, and we might have a trip up here at some stage just because, as long as it's not for longer than 72 hours. Well, I guess now all we have to do is finish off our breakfast and hit the road. And today the plan is we've sort of scoped a campground, the next campground that is just outside of the Queensland border, because legally we're not allowed to cross into the Queensland border until tomorrow. We've got all our permits in place for all the border crossings because of the COVID restrictions. So we will sit just outside the border when we get there. It's about If we were to drive straight, about a 6-hour drive, I think, from here. But that's okay, we're taking our time. As I said, we're not in any rush, and we'll see what we see along the way. So, see ya.